on me.
Okay. All right. The U.S. has just struck Iran yesterday. I don't know the exact timing of it. We got the news of it towards the end of the day that they carried out airstrikes from B-2 bombers that were sent from Whiteman Air Force or Air Base, and that is right by our neck of the woods in Missouri. So, kind of struck close to home, just based on where we are located.
We also have a family member that worked there too.
Oh yeah, we had it was a part of
It's
the military.
close to home, like you said.
Yes, very close to home. It's weird us being right here and then that actually happening that across the world, which is not only for our time and period right now, but is probably going to change the course of human history in a lot of ways. It could. I'm just curious, and I think everybody is very concerned of how much this could escalate, based on whether Iran is going to attack back. I wanted to put out here, Tim Pool just tweeted 3 hours ago, gas prices about to skyrocket. U.S. will deploy to secure the strait. Iran will strike U.S. personnel and assets. U.S. will invade. This was in regards to, says just in, Iran just voted to close the Hormuz Strait and oil crisis is imminent. This was a completely avoidable issue. Our foreign policy does not serve the American interest. The Middle East should not have been our fight, just a dangerous distraction. So this could impact people being immediately gas prices going up. But I mean, I think that's going to be the least of our concerns. Because this was about 10 years ago or more that I remember people saying us going into Iran or fighting with Iran, that would be very scary. It's not like any other country. They are huge.
They're a big country, but I don't know if their personnel can match up with ours.
Oh, no.
USA.
Yes, USA all the way, 100%. With President Trump making that decision, making that call, what do you think? What do you think about that, Zach? Let's go up here.
What I do is I pray for the people that did not. I pray for the people that got hurt, that weren't a part of whatever the issue was. But we told them that we're going to be there, and they only had a certain amount of time to get out.
He gave them the 2 weeks, and the 2 weeks did not go much further than maybe a couple days after he said that. And that was almost the fake out. It was him like giving the impression that they had at most 2 weeks, probably, but we saw the writing on the wall. People were, airplanes and forces were being sent in that direction. So Iran pretty much knew something was going to happen, and he did not carry out the tactical nuke. I don't know if you heard about the tactical nuke.
Nope, not at all.
So that would have almost normalized the of carrying out a nuke attack. If he would have done that, if Trump would have done that, that would have completely wiped out and obliterated their program, and that's what they were saying would have been the only way that it could have been actually taken down completely. So we haven't found out the full scope of what the damages they inflicted on Iran's nuclear program, if it is completely decimated, or whether it can grow back and come back into how much, or if we're gonna have to send more bombs into there to finish what it did not completely intend to do. But
I'm like you customers or whoever's watching this. I don't know what's going on either. So I'm gonna listen to the man. I really don't know.
Have you been following?
I have not been following like I should.
You haven't been following it?
No, I have not.
I've been following a lot.
It kind of makes me a little scared. It makes me a little angry. It makes me a little bit of. I don't know. It's like, I think I have a friend that's the same way. He just doesn't pay attention to the news because it just puts him into a whole new
It kind of worries him or something.
Worries him. It does a lot of things for him.
I think that's what the news is meant to do. Like if it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead. It's like they want to scare people constantly. Right now, I think all it is a matter of concern. And there's people on both sides of whether this was a good thing or a bad thing. I think Republicans and Democrats alike, they're not, if you're Republican, you're all for it, or if you're Democrat, you're all against it. I think going to war and being very hawkish and bringing out these attacks, I don't think nobody actually wanted this to happen. But now this is where Trump has made the decision. President Trump made the decision to go in there. So we will forever reap the results of that decision. So that's a big call. And I just think that the people that are heavily involved in and just aware of all the situations, all the different ways and directions we could go out of this, could this escalate into World War III? I think it would. World War III is just thrown around so often. Like Civil War in our country, people throw out Civil War.
Very scary situation.
But
Same with World War, yeah.
I'm curious, what does it take to be declared World War III? I want to ask from a military officer, Dad, what does it take to be considered World War III?
Conflict with,
Is it multiple countries?
yes,
Is that when it becomes World War III? It's like official World War III?
well, that's what they were telling me, and if a number of countries were involved,
Uh-huh.
and maybe nuclear war.
And nuclear war? It's like, why, like,
It's not good.
is it just a label, World War III? Like, if somebody, like, what made the first war, World War I, and then World War II, just,
Historians that named it that.
but when it was happening, were people saying this is World War I or this is World War II?
No, they probably grew up to it later.
So when they're in the middle of it, they're not saying that this is World War I or II?
No.
So I never thought of it like that.
It's changed, yeah, the words have been changed.
It looks like looking back, and then we kind of just see that was.
But it could be World War III if they want to make it that way. I hope that is a very scary thing for people that have family in the military. Because there's not a day that went by that I had a father that went over to Iraq. Mm-hmm. And there's not a day that I'm worried didn't go by not worrying about him. So people going in, it's a war. I hope those people don't take war things in lightly.
Uh-huh.
If that makes sense. It's really a sad thing for a lot of people, not just the person that's going into it. Probably the person going into it, of their family-wise and friends-wise, they're the least of the problem.
Uh-huh.
Everybody worrying about them is the problem. Is the worry. You worried about it, it's just an awful situation.
It could become really bad. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. But them carrying out these strikes is something we cannot go back on, and it's something we can't undo. But it's whether you see it the perspective that Iran could not have a nuclear weapon. And I think that overall, I stand with President Trump. I think he made the correct decision just based on the man that he is. He has always been a person that wants to stay out of conflict, like, as much as possible. So for him to make that call, his presidency is on the line. His the reputation he's going to have going forward. Everybody, he owns it now. He owns this whole situation, good or bad. What happens? And I don't think he would have took that lightly to make that call to send them in. I think he, but it's not an easy accepted position one way or the other, because people that are on the right that are supportive of the Trump, most of them that I would see they wanted him to stay out of this completely as much as possible.
Even as vice president.
Did Vance want to stay out of it?
Vance wanted to stay out of it, or at least the war.
And I think
Getting involved, yes.
he wanted it more to stay out of it.
I understood why you have to stay. And that's another reason I like JD Vance.
Uh-huh.
Because he's a man, he's a soldier, he's an ex-soldier, and he was over at war in Iraq or Afghanistan or wherever he was for 4 years. Not for 4 years, but
He was in that part of the world in the conflict and fight.
conflict. And he realizes all the problems that go with it, with the family and all that thing. That's a huge thing for me. So I like that. I like JD Vance.
I do too, yeah. And I just think overall it's
A person like that can see things differently than a person that's never been in a wartime, never
Oh yeah.
been in the military or whatever. So
And yeah, our dad went over. He was in Iraq for a long time, and we experienced what it was to have our father outside of the country, and for probably close to a year, and just being in that area in Fallujah when it was high, like soldiers were getting killed by the day. So. I think Trump is going to do everything he's possible to keep boots off the ground.
yeah, exactly. I just hope there's no trying to do a regime change or whatever. But that scares me if they're trying to do a regime change. I know we'd love to have it, but man, there's a lot of U.S. lives we're going to lose in the meantime.
If they go in there and try to
And the US
take out the
military's not
spring
even
leader,
trained to do that.
like
The
they're
U.S. military is trained to
strike and get out
strike and get out. Exactly.
and not occupy.
Yeah.
And I think
They're not police officers.
no, and I think we for the years, almost decades that we were in Iraq and in Afghanistan, now to be plunged right back into it. I don't think we are necessarily plunged it back into it yet. It was very strategic in Trump's call, and he was sending airstrikes to do something that Israel couldn't do, just to penetrate those areas. And we only have the technology, the bombs that are capable of doing that. So it will. Whether this could escalate, I see it as. I see that they.
Is on there yet? How many people are on there?
What?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, so
I love this guy.
okay.
Back to what we were talking about.
So
It's new to me.
it's like we've been live a couple of times, haven't we? Yeah. It's
Never went live.
Oh, we haven't?
We never went live.
Oh, really? Yeah.
We can stop where you can. Yeah.
It's different. I like doing it because it's some way you can actually just directly just talk about what's going on,
What you want to feel like, yeah.
what's happening, and I think everybody has different perspectives and viewpoints of everything that's going on. But with this Iran and Israel conflict, so on the side of Iran and on the side of Israel, are you one way or the other? Whether it's like, do you lean more towards supporting Israel, or are you?
Success, obviously.
Do you really, or because
Yeah,
most
man,
people?
how could you, that's what I don't understand is how people could have want Iran's success unless you're a person that came over to this country with that desire to do that. If you're American and you're happy with everything that's going on, there's no reason you shouldn't be rooting for Israel.
But you understand, like, there is like so many people, like, it's not popular to pull for like Israel because I don't know if you heard about the conversation between, hey mom, would you mind getting Jack or and we have
him out of here so he's not gonna bark him.
And it's probably not even that loud. It's probably we got a dog in the house.
And here in Kansas City, Missouri, we don't see everything that is being seen. So I honestly don't know. But I pray for the people that are out there, and I hope the people that are the good people are doing the good things.
So Israel, like, most people right now, when they talk about Israel and Palestine, Israel and Iran, there is a strong opposition, not really an opposition, but an opposition to the idea of Israel and them being unique, or why should we throw in our lot with them? And it's not. And I think it's going to become even less popular as we go because more people are going to see.
That's how war goes on. You know what I mean?
And they're seeing us lose, just not win anything, but us just lose in standing with Israel.
I just remember when we invaded Iraq.
When was that? Was that like 2003, 2004?
I can't remember exactly.
I think
I remember people were so fired up, man. Flags were waving and everything where you were driving and everything. But as the war went on,
more people.
You just lose those flags that were waving.
Yeah, and now we have the Monday morning quarterbacking. We can look back and we can see that. Did we really get much out of that, of us going in there and trying to stop Saddam Hussein and weapons of mass destruction, and there ended up not being any. But I think this is different because we knew there was the weapon of mass destruction of a nuclear bomb being created. Because if Iran has a bomb, they're gonna drop it. They're gonna drop it on
They have
Israel.
ill intentions against America.
Yeah, and I mean, no one's dropped it out of all these years of us having these, and so many countries having nuclear weapons. I'm surprised nothing's been carried out, and I think it's only by the grace of God that a nuclear bomb hasn't been dropped. But what? So we always had atomic bombs. We dropped on Hiroshima, like the A bomb or whatever it was. But like, what's the difference between? Are you familiar with that? Like, what makes that just a nuclear has nuclear capabilities within it or something?
I didn't think the atomic bomb was any different than a nuclear bomb.
Hey, Dad, is an A bomb the same? Is it different?
No, you have nuclear bombs, you have hydrogen bombs.
Hydrogen bombs?
Well, yeah, nobody uses hydrogen.
Like when we dropped
But
the
nuclear, we haven't used that for.
Nuclear and atom bombs are the same thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of what's that stuff that
Oh,
they
so-
left afterwards and everything. That people can get real sick and everything.
the radiation.
Radiation.
The radiation.
Yeah.
So the A bomb is the same thing as a nuclear bomb,
Yes.
Yeah.
but we've dropped a hydrogen bomb. Is that what you're saying?
We didn't drop, we just detonated one for practice or whatever.
What do we do? What do we drop on?
What is the difference between
I'm talking about
hydrogen bomb
Japan.
and a,
What do we drop on Japan?
The nuclear, the atom bomb,
Two atom bombs, one is.
Hiroshima, and the.
So are you saying that means that we did drop a nuclear bomb?
Yes.
So why do people make it seem like the nukes have not been used before? So
Well, it has been, but that's a one-time.
That was a very bad time in U.S. history.
I always thought that we hadn't.
should've
I thought that was
opted in.
the thing that we.
But maybe we shouldn't have, because I heard our grandfather would not be here today. And probably we wouldn't be here today if that bomb wouldn't have been dropped. And we gave them many opportunities and they knew that what was going to happen, and they still they intended on just keep on doing what they were doing. And finally we were like, we've lost enough men. We've lost enough men, so we're gonna have to do this. So
Yeah.
that's what happened. So
Yeah, this I'm just very I'm concerned. I think but I think it had to happen. I think us dropping that was a necessity.
in Iran,
Yeah, I think it had to happen because there had to been a change in the last like 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Brandon, you know, we didn't drop a nuclear bomb on it, right?
yeah, it was just those bomb smashers.
Why did I say nuclear bomb?
No, I don't think you did.
No,
He just letting you know.
I said I didn't mean it like we dropped a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
We just dropped the
Bomb
bomb
smasher,
smashers just to penetrate the ground so they could take out those. Have we got the scope of how far the inflicted or how much it took out?
Not yet.
But now the concern is whether Iran is going to start attacking military bases across the Middle East and then across the world. But us trying to just take them out, like kneecap them and just paralyze them so that they can't have as much of a reach, I think that is, Trump wanted to get ahead of it. Israel wanted to get ahead of it because they saw what was about to be unleashed if they didn't. But this is
And not only do that, when you go in, people are like, man, people have had enough. Why don't you stop bombing? No, when the chance is there to get them flattened, you take that opportunity and flatten and decimate whatever was going to go on, what they were going to try and everything like that. So I'm proud of our American soldiers and our Israeli soldiers that did that.
Dad, how long did it take them from Whiteman to Iran? How long did that take?
23 hours or something.
It's a 23-hour flight.
It was probably about, I don't know, 16 hours.
16.
They had to refuel
and
a
the
couple
refuel
times,
and the refuel on the way there. So when did that actually happen? Do we know? I know the news was reported like yesterday at towards evening.
I don't think we know anymore.
Was it like right after, like almost immediately?
I was.
Probably just before.
So they were probably flying out of Whiteman on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's just it's crazy how close it is to where we are at. That those bombers were taking off and going to there, you know? And just imagine you're those pilots just given that mission. You're given the order comes down from the chain of command. The president sends you over and like you are about to change history in your actions, what you're doing. This is
I think we need to just be easy with your words right now, and let hopefully the good things come, and then pray for the bad things. Because there might be some bad things that come from repercussions that just happened or whatever, but we gotta be. It needed to happen. I truly believe that it needed.
Oh, I 100% agree that it probably needed to happen. I don't think Trump would just lightly do this. He's very. It seems like he's very supportive of Israel. I don't know if that is because his either son-in-law is Jewish, and so he's always had very.
Ivanka's
Is that what it is? Ivanka's
husband.
maybe.
Yeah,
I just
you're right.
and then he was the one who moved the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem that had been talked about for years, and then he's just been just standing with Israel in so many different ways. And I love Trump because of the very pro-life position he's had, even though he's not vocally a for pro-life in all ways. But he's definitely been the reason that we have the judges we have on there, and then just his siding with Israel when it is not the climate to just be standing with Israel in a lot of ways. And through a lot of human history, a lot of people, it's easy to go against them because it's easy to make the Jews as the scapegoat for everything. And I think there is a satanic spirit that goes out there and that wants to always harm and destroy the Jewish people. And now this whole thing is like whether Israel and the national state of Israel right now, is that the same thing in the Bible? Have you ever considered
I
this?
probably haven't learned enough about it, but I'm happy to learn about it though.
I think
I've been hearing you. I've been listening to you, so a little bit.
I think well, it's that was the argument that Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson were talking about. They got in a very heated. It's
Is it an argument? Was it just an argument, or just kind of like?
They were going back and forth. They were very like.
Why was Tucker Carlson more interested in the
he wants us to.
anti-Semite?
Yeah, he wants us to stay out of conflict completely.
Yeah,
He doesn't want us
Ted
to stand
Cruz
for.
wants us to stay out.
So there are so many popular people out there right now. There, Candace Owens and Tim Pool, and just so many people are out there. Like most people, even Joe Rogan and his kind of guys that he brings on there, a lot of them are not really as like tied and tight knit with Israel. It's not really popular, it seems like, and from my vantage point of standing with Israel. You have to stick your neck out on the line.
It might be. I don't know. I could be wrong.
What do you think?
I
Are you
think
seeing
it might
something
be
different?
A little bit more popular than you think. It's just the news wants to make it look unpopular.
But these big high profile guys are not they treat Israel as any other nation and almost go into the other direction of standing with them and almost opposing them because of how just some people are drawn to being with Israel and whatever they do, because we have that biblical kind of mandate. In Israel, we're always to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, the uniqueness of Israel that's been throughout the Bible. And I think when it was reestablished constituted as a nation in 1948, that is the same nation. You can't argue.
48 was Israel.
Yeah,
Was made. That's
yeah.
cool.
So after World War II, they were the ones that and that's what Zionism is. And I'm not for all pushing everybody to Israel, but I think
That is really what Zionist is.
it's like pushing everybody back into Israel and standing with them. But this is what push people away. And I'm not going to be a person that's just blind that Israel does everything perfect, and I don't think they do. Mm-hmm. But I do think I do think they are a unique nation that we should be kind of being tight with and stand with, because they will eventually be the superpower.
Yeah, I had a guy I used to work with. He's older than I was, but he's Christian. And he's just amazing how this small little nation, surrounded by people that don't want them to be there, is able to stand with years and years. You know what I mean? That's just amazing. You gotta be amazed how strong they are.
I've heard Mark Twain was the one who said the strongest argument for the Bible being true and correct. What is the nation, the Jewish people, because that they have stayed together as a people for almost like 3,000 years, and it's like they haven't just. You don't hear about the Hittites anymore, or the Amalekites, or any other of these nations that from the long past. But Israel, even though that so many times in periods in history people want to destroy them, they always end up coming up short. They don't end up being able to do it. And I think that is God's power with them, that God is always with them and he will always be with them. But I've talked to Jesse about this, that it's as we get closer and closer to the end of days, and as we get closer and closer to the return of Christ, there goes the dog. There
Just keep on knowing.
Yeah, you got him. There will be a greater and greater hostility against the people of Israel, and it's the true Christians. People are, I think it's over here. The true Christians are the ones that stand with them. And I think that any Christian can be kind of deceived and not knowing the right thing at any time. Nobody's got everything perfect, but eventually you will kind of see that God's people is God's people. There's a unique place, a chosen grace that Israel has compared to all the other nations. That's what it's been. All right, Zach, I'm going to wrap this up. Did you have anything else you wanted to?
No, it was awesome. Awesome being here with you guys. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, stay safe out there, everyone. Peace.